So yeah, so we'll start standing, have blocks handy. We are going to just start having your feet about shoulder width apart, I would say. And we're going to just ground the feet down. So we're just going to find the two sides of the balls of your feet and press them both down. So the pinky side and the big toe side. And then press down on both sides of your heel. Just let your arms hang down to start. Let's lift the shoulders, pull them back and drop them down. Close your eyes. Let's just take a few breaths here. So in some ways, this class is going to be just a little different. We're going to do a stress release. And when I say stress release, I am saying psoas. We're going to release the psoas today. Good. And just try to soften a little bit. See where you can relax while you're standing here. So it can be like we're pulling the belly in and we're pressing the legs down, but let's just think about maybe finding a little bit of sway, So you're not just so tight, so rigid. You're just relaxing as much as you can in a standing position. Softening the fingers, softening the toes, the forehead. Letting the arms become really heavy. Good. And then we're going to let the eyes open. I'm just going to rock the feet. So we're going to rock the feet. We're going to lift the outside edge of your right foot and the inside edge of your left. We're just rocking the feet and then back to center and then the other way. Good. Rocking the feet. Good. Just keep going. You don't have to breathe any particular way, just breathe. So this is based on David Berceli's psoas release that he does. And so it's not exactly what he does, but it's going to be based on what I learned with him. So if you ever want to look him up, he's really great. He's really great. He works with a lot of veterans and stuff. Okay, so we're just going to do it a few more times. And then find center, lift the heels, and put them down. So we're just lifting and lowering. If you need a wall, touch the wall. Or a chair, touch the chair. Good. Lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. Just keep going. Good. One more time. Lift. Let's hold. Lift, lift, lift. And then lower down. Good. Shake out those feet. Okay, so we're just going to come to the top of the mat. Let's have these blocks handy. You might not want to use them, but they're good to have. Inhale, reach up. Exhale and fold. I'm going to let the knees be bent. Good. Bend the knees maybe just a little bit more. Reach the hips back, come into chair pose. Good. Let's just hold that chair. You're pulling the belly in, letting the hips sink down and sliding that tailbone down. So you're just lengthening that lower back. Good. Exhale, fold. Good. Let's do that chair again. Bend the knees. Coming up. Good. Your hands could be at heart center. Good. Sit at maybe an inch lower. Good. And fold. Let's put the hands on the blocks for now. You could have them any way you want them. And then we're going to just center your left leg, lift your right. So just lift it out behind you. Good. So we're going to bring this back knee behind the front knee, and we're going to just do a little Shiva squat. Squat and straighten. Squat and straighten. Good. Let's do 3 more. Squat, straighten. You could have your hands on the floor. Your hands could even float. Good. 2 more. Squat, straighten, squat, and straighten. Very good. Good. We're going to set the blocks aside, set it back into a lunge. So we want that heel underneath the knee. Good. We're going to come up halfway and coming down. Good. Let's do that 2 more times. Halfway and coming down. Good. 1 more time. Come up halfway. Good. And then all the way. Crescent pose. Nice. Let's turn that back heel down. Warrior 2. Straightening that front leg, we're going to turn the toes in. Good. Take the hands behind you. We're going to just place it on the top of your glutes. So you can see we're trying to fatigue the legs a little bit. Now we're going to stretch into your hip flexors. So we're going to press your left hip or your right hip forward. So just pressing that forward. Use your hand to help you. So we're really sliding the tailbone down, pressing the hip forward, coming back. We're going to do the other side. Press the hip forward, slide the tailbone down. I know it feels awkward. If it feels awkward and weird, you're probably doing it totally right. Good. So we're going to press the hip forward and back. Good. Forward. So we're just switching legs and back. Good. Let's do 1 more time each side. Press it forward and back. Good. Forward and back. Good. Set those blocks to the other side and let's just hop it over. Good. Now put those blocks where they're comfortable if you use them before. And then we're going to sit back into chair. Good. Nice. Press it up. Let's sit it back, chair. Fold it forward. Good. Bend the knees. Sit it back, chair. Breathe. Sit it down an inch more. Good. And fold. Good. We're going to use the blocks here. We're going to lift that other leg. Good. Shiva squat on this side. So we're going to bring your other knee behind, your back knee behind the front, and press it out. Good. Let's do it again. Press it out. 3 more times. Good. Press it out. Good. 2 more. Press it out. 1 more. Good. Press it out. Nice. Step it back, lunge. And we're coming up halfway just to fatigue that leg, that front leg a little bit more. Good. Let's do it again. Good. Now we're going to do it one more time and sweep it up. Breathe. Good. Open up. Warrior 2. Straightening into the front leg. Turn the toes in, heels out. Hands behind you. Good. We're going to press the hips forward. So we're just going to press the right hip or the left. Doesn't matter. Just do either one. And then the left. Good. We're just pressing. You might be engaging the glute. We want that tailbone sliding down so you don't have an arch in the low back. You're taking that arch out. Good. Let's do one more on each side. Good. And then back to center. Hop the legs together. Nice. Let's just turn toward your mat. We're going to inhale, reach up. Exhale and fold. Nice stretch through the back of the legs. And let's just walk it forward, downward facing dog. Pedal those heels. And then lower down onto the knees. Good. So we're going to come back into child's pose for a minute. Maybe just let the hips rest for a moment. Good. Coming up to table. Let's just cross into the ankles and come onto our back. So we're going to do a couple of exercises here that we're going to hold for a little bit. So I'm just going to be paying attention to the time a little so that we hold them long enough. And it's kind of weird, but it just helps fatigue the muscles around the psoas so that the psoas, we can hit the psoas. So we're going to just really tuck the shoulders underneath you, and we're going to lift the hips up. So you can just lift them up. Now, you can lift them up really high. You can lift them up an inch off the floor. You can have them almost touching. Doesn't matter. You're just holding the legs up. Engage your glutes. You can engage whatever you like with the legs to keep them up. And we're just going to hold them here for a little bit. You could even pulse the hips if you wanted to. It's really whatever you need to do to get through holding the hips up. That's all you need to do. And I like just to hold them. We're going to hold another pose for a little bit as well. And the idea here is we're fatiguing those legs. We're fatiguing your glutes. So if you feel burning, that's where we should be. We want to feel it burn a little bit. If you don't, and you're really strong here, that's okay too. You're still fatiguing. But just think it's okay if it's burning a little bit. Good. And if you feel a wave, I'm feeling a little wave in my hips. That's good. That's a good sign we're going to get where we want to go later on. Good. Breathe. Okay, let's hold this for 5 more long, deep breaths. One more deep breath. Good, lower down. I always think it's funny because we get relieved and then you don't know what I'm going to do to you next. You might like this not as much. So we're going to bring the bottoms of your feet together now. So the blades of your feet are on the mat and the knees are out. And then we're going to lift the hips up. Now, again, they could be lifted an inch off the mat. It doesn't matter. They just need a little bit of height. And we're just holding. You can engage the glutes. You can grab your mat to hold yourself up. It's all going to be okay. And it's temporary. We're in temporary. This is temporary. That's what I always remind myself. It's not going to last forever. And it's going to be super great. It's going to be great. So releasing the psoas can help you get rid of stress that you're carrying around physically. That's really what it's supposed to do. It helps people who carry a lot of trauma in their body without having to do like you might have done a lot of psychological counseling, but the trauma is still in the body. This helps release that. And it can help with, if you have low back pain, this can help with low back pain or hip flexor pain. I'm just gonna go a little bit longer. Let's do 5 breaths here again. I'll do anything for 5 breaths. Two more breaths. And then lower back down. So we're going to keep the bottoms of the feet together and let your knees relax out to the sides. So this is the heavy duty work here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to bring the knees toward one another really slow. So we bring them together slow until you start to feel a shake in your legs. So you'll start to feel it. So mine go up pretty high before I feel the shake. And then you let it shake. Once it gets to the shake, sometimes what you want to do is stop that shake because we've taught ourselves to suppress the shake. But that's what you want. You want to find the shake, and it could feel like a flutter, or you could have your legs shaking. They could also be even doing this. They could be really shaking. So you find any sort of flutter, and once you feel it start to die down a little, you just move your legs a little bit and see if you can find another spot where you find that shake. And we're going to be doing this for a bit. So you just relax. Some people get a little emotional doing this. Some people feel like laughing when doing it. And some people, I've never cried or laughed while doing it, but I find it does very much release tension in my body. So you're just moving the legs around and you're finding that little pulsing, that shake. Doesn't have to be a lot of movement. And really let it shake, let it pulse. We're going to do this for a little bit here. So we have time to really let it go, let all of these pent up emotions go. And, when we're kids, when you see a kid get scared, you'll notice they'll shake after they get scared. And that's the normal response to something that's scary. But we as adults and as we get older, we're taught to, out of how whatever our feelings are, to stop shaking after something scary happens. And because we've suppressed it, we hold it. And so this is you taking all that stuff that you've suppressed and letting it go. And yeah, I feel a little sore in my inner thighs from doing this. You will feel a little sore. It's okay. If you want to do it again, just wait a couple of days and then do it again. Good. And then sometimes it just takes a little bit to let yourself do the shake. Let it happen. Let yourself release. Good. So we're going to go for about 2 more minutes. I know it feels like a little while, but it's okay. Just relax. Try to relax the upper body, shoulders, the jaw. Let your teeth part. Just a little bit longer. Good. Just checking my watch. I don't want it to go on too long because it can be very sore. Good. Just a few more breaths here. And then we're just going to let the knees relax out to the sides. Let the inner thighs stretch. You could also take your blocks underneath your knees if it's a little much, just to let your inner thighs rest. We want them to rest, not so much stretch. Hands to the belly. And now let's just think about the belly getting super soft. And if you think about where the psoas is, it does link to your lower back and it links to your inner thighs. So we're just thinking about these areas. We're just softening it as much as we can. So thinking about the muscles around your lower back and your inner thighs, relaxing a little bit deeper with every exhale. Just a few more breaths, softening as deep as you can. Good. And then slow motion, we're going to bring those knees up to center. Heel toe the feet to the edges of your mat. And then we'll just do it one little stretch. It'll be a stretch for your inner thighs, but we're just going to let the knees fall over to the right. They're going to stagger out. And then up to center and then over to the left. Just moving back and forth a few times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Keep going with your breath, still softening. Good. One more each side. Good. Up to center. Hug both knees into the chest. Just rock a little bit, side to side. And then let's find our way into our final pose. So if you want to have your feet together and knees apart again, you could do that. Or you could straighten into the legs and just relax here for just a little bit. Gently bending into the knees. Let's roll onto one side of our body. Coming up to a seated position. We'll just take a few breaths sitting right here. Thank you for sharing your practice with me this wonderful day. Namaste. Thank you guys. So I hope you feel totally released now.